It's a it's a beautiful day out here today. We've got some baby chicks out there. As soon as they get out from under the hen, I'll capture some video for you. We had a nice rain, finally. Beautiful skies. So I'm setting up to do a video on watercolor kits, plein air watercolor kits. But while I'm doing that, I wanted to get some salmon on the smoker. This little chief, it's a big chief actually, we've had for years, and it's worked well, especially for fish. It doesn't get real hot, so I do what I call a cold smoke on it. There's Stella, she's waiting. And there was a cat here a minute ago. Well, when we see Classy again, I'll get a picture of her for you. There we go. That's Stella and her little buddy, Classy. Classy's a feral cat that it's gotten to where we can pet her and actually kind of call her. She'll come greet us. And we've got a bed set up over here during the winter time. We plug it in with a heating pad. She's getting pretty old. She's gonna be probably 15 years old anyway. They enjoy sitting there looking out over their domain together. Well, it's another fine day here on the Western Slope. I'm in my Montrose studio today, and it's so nice to see some clouds. And terribly dry. We had a beautiful shower earlier today. Lots of exciting thunder and lightning. I had a viewer ask about my watercolor setups, and so that's what I'm going to do today. So the viewer was asking particularly about sitting down. The unit I was using in a video while I was sitting down. This is my open box M, and it was made by Open Box M. Unfortunately, these guys are no longer in business, but if you can find a used one on eBay or an artist materials swap, or somebody's given it up and they'd be kind enough to pass it on, this would be a nice outfit to get. I use a similar one for my oil paints, but this one was designed for watercolors, and it has these spring-loaded clamps in there, and this is a 10 by 14 paper that I just got taped down on a board. I think that board is a 16 by 20, although I'm not positive about that, so don't quote me on that. And then my palette, so I've got my water is over here hanging. Brushes, my palette, which I can lay down, and it's nice and paint. So this is a nice setup. And then of course, if I want to stand up, then I just raise the legs on the tripods. Let me show you what that looks like. Of course, you'd set all this up depending on whether you're going to stand or sit initially. Set it up before you get started so you don't have to wrestle it around like I'm doing right now. So this would work Again, my water container just hanging on the side over here. I have my palette in hand. And my brush. And I'm good to go. Of course, I'd want this turned around so the sun's not shining on it, but for these demonstration purposes, it'll work just fine. Now, when you're done, you've got your painting on this panel. So you can just set it aside somewhere if you've got something to set it on. If not, it just goes on the ground like that. This case has been with me all over Alaska and British Columbia, Canada in general, all over primarily the West. These clamps, one of them is spring loaded. And you can put a pad on here, watercolor pad, instead of, that's a quarter sheet, what's referred to as a quarter sheet. This little water container actually folds out like that, expands. And then I have my sponge in there. So the palette could fit right in here. And of course, for those of you who want to work flat, you can just lay that all down. And if you want to sit and work flat, you just lower the easel legs, the tripod legs, I'm sorry. All right, let's move on to, I want to show you Josh Bean's setup. That's the one I was using in the video that the viewer commented on. So this was the Josh Bean Day Tripper, and I'll leave a link in the description to his website, and he sells these. Again, we've got our board with our paper on it, and I can raise this up. For the Day Tripper, he's got several versions of his easel, and they're all different sizes. This mast back in the back there, but this one works for what I use it for. And again, I've got my water here and my palette. Brushes are on the ground here. I don't have a holder for those, but this is all very doable. As you can see in that video, this is what I was painting with. And again, if you want to work flat, this can tip down. There's a mechanism on the tripod head back here. So you want to rotate that around to where it's flat instead of standing up. Sometimes I paint flat, sometimes I stand up. It all kind of depends. I'm getting some sprinkles, so we'll see how this goes. And there we go. So we can do it flat. If you want to paint the other way horizontally, then just rotate it around. There we go. So a very versatile, lightweight. The big advantage to this setup, in my viewpoint, is that it's very lightweight, and Josh designed it primarily because he's a hiker, likes to hike out. But if you're not going too far from the car, the lightweight, being able to hike probably isn't going to be an issue for you. I don't go to the lengths that he does, so you just turn. So now that's a vertical, comes off of the tripod mount and can be put in your backpack with your tripod. Sets up real quick. This one probably has the least accommodation for your supplies. But once you get it down to this point, it's just a matter of sticking it in your backpack along with your palette and your brushes, your water container. I can store all of that. My paper towels, my masking tape, my water container for washing out the brushes. Stored all in my backpack, and then all I've got to carry if I'm going to have a chair is take my chair and a gallon jug of water. Paper towels are in there, paints are in there. Everything I need is in my backpack. The next one I want to show you is my French easel box, and this may be just the most perfect one. The problem with this box is that it's heavy. The advantage to it is you can put all of your stuff in there and carry it just like this to and from the car. Probably not real good for hiking any distance, but just from to the car and back, you can make that work. We're getting a little bit of that liquid sunshine, but just passing showers, and I think it won't amount to much. So it has been said, and with probably good reason, that these French easel boxes are extremely hard to set up. And I want to show you an easy way to do it. If you don't want to get down on the ground and find a picnic table or the back of your car in the trunk or something, but if you can set it on something and you pull that leg out, use this butterfly nut to cinch it up in place. The studio's near the airport, and that's what you hear in the background. Plane taking off. Set this one down. cinch that up in place. If you just take your time and don't get frustrated, it actually works quite well and is worth the hassle, I guess, if you're going to consider it. That's 2 side legs. Then the middle leg, fold it out, tighten it down. Now what you've got is you can set this up You'll see here, I'm trying to talk to you and do this, and I got it set up wrong. That leg comes around, goes out this way. So don't do it like I just did. Now, if you're going to sit down and paint, whether it's watercolor or oil, pastels, doesn't make any difference. You can do it all with this box. So once you've got those legs set out like that, this is where you're going to be. You can take your paper that you're going to paint on, place it right in here. If you're going to do a vertical, there you go. And there's plenty of places to hang your water off of. What's especially nice about this box is this drawer. Well, it's got a drawer, but I'm going to take that off for the moment. And this lifts up, and inside here, see, there's my water jug, some masking tape, my little spritzer, clamps. Adjust this level. So now you can paint vertically if you want. This palette box that I've got, unfortunately they don't make it anymore. It's a whole bind, but there's others out there. To keep that in here, I improvised a little retainer clip here. Where that fits just like that. I can take my brushes. See, this drawer comes out, and your brushes can fit in there. You put paints in there. There's all kinds of stuff you can carry in here. If I were to pick one of those three as the most versatile for me and for what I'm doing, I would probably go with this. I've tried the Josh Bean Road Tripper, and I can paint either oil or watercolor on it. That is a very good choice. My Open Box M, I've painted a jillion paintings, both watercolor and oil. The unfortunate part about that is they're just no longer in business, so they're hard to come by. But these French box easels, you can get them on Dick Blick. In fact, you can get the Julian, the original one, the Julian is on sale right now $350 regularly. I think I saw it for 150. But at the time of this video recording, you'll have to check it. This is not a Julian French box. It's a El Greco, a Trident El Greco. Different manufacturer, same concept, same setup, same design. In fact, they don't make these anymore either. I've just been doing this so long, everything I'm using is getting outdated. But Josh is still making his, so that's good. And you pick these up, eBay, Jerry's, everybody's got them. And of course, this one, you just extend the legs and it'll stand up, so you can stand up and paint if you choose. In fact, I'll just do that. These are kind of, I don't want to say the gold standard, but artists have been using these forever, and they still are. You see a lot of these French box easels out there. A lot of the old timers, the well-established painters. One of the big advantages to these also is that you can fold these legs up and use it as a tabletop easel. And when you've got uneven terrain, adjust the legs to level everything up. And either vertical or horizontal. Now what's nice about this setup also is that if this was a wet canvas or a wet panel for oil painting, or even just the idea of having a watercolor, although it's dry, this, you can carry it back, fold this all up, and this becomes your wet painting carrier. Now I'm taking the easel out because I want to show you something else. I'm just going to set this aside and I'll fold it up later. Let me show you another setup that I use. It depends on the circumstances. There's a couple photos of me using that when I rode my motorcycle up to British Columbia, and I was painting up there for a couple weeks. And this little box came in real handy. Let me show you that one. This is just one of a couple bags that I use at different times for different purposes to carry this kit in. But this is a Pashad box. Again, unfortunately, it's made by Open Box M, which I've told you is out of business. And just a beautiful piece of craftsmanship, walnut, brass fittings. There's 100 variations of this out on the internet. They've all got them. Jerry's Artorama, Dick Blick, they're Art Supplies Warehouse. They're easy to find. They're all over the place. But this one, so this is just an idea of what can be done. So this one opens up what I'm doing is adjusting this over on this side here to hold this upright. It's got storage for some pads. This particular one, I can use a 7x9 6x9s work real well. Under this tray, I've got my water container, an extra pad, and 2 pallets. One is for watercolor and the other one is for gouache. But I'm going to set this here. Now this, see this little compartment right here? I had them custom install that or make that for me, because in there I've got my travel paint brushes and a couple of erasers and a pencil. Just a storage place for all of that stuff. Beautiful brass compartment with this cover on it. And so you could sit. I mean, you don't need a tripod. Paint. In fact, I'll even take it a step farther. You don't even need this. If you want to keep it real simple, get a pad, a palette with some paints on it, a container of water you can set on the ground there, and your brushes, which you can stick in your pocket. I've done a bunch of paintings just like this. Oh, let me show you this little water container. These are portable dog bowls that you can put water in, and you can just fold them up. They work great for watercolorists and plein air painting. I did put the ball head, tripod head. This is actually the one for Josh Bean's easel. Well, it's not his easel, but it's the easel that I use for his setup. Part of the problem, as you can see, you get everything, you get so many choices. And everything is, you're using part of this kit for that kit. And that's how you wind up. Unfortunately, that's how you wind up with several of everything. Again, nice strap on it. Beautiful leather, bridal leather. So this is for watercolor, and I bought it on a whim at the plein air convention one time. It was a good price. But as you can see, this is an official Julian product. Julian was the maker of the original French box easel. And this is primarily for watercolor. Well, I don't know, I say primarily. That's what I bought it for. And it sets up somewhat similar to that full box easel. And it's been several years since I've even set this up. So let's learn together here. Remember on the box easel, the French box easel I showed you earlier, the Greco one, these legs, come out. And they go a certain way. This one I'm getting correct. On the other one I had it set up wrong. And then this slides out. Get your legs out there. This would be for painting on a horizontal. These will apparently extend quite large. So you could turn that into a vertical format if you wanted. Very doable there. I mean, I'm set up. I could paint. And at the flat surface, I could tip it with these adjustments and paint upright if I wanted. But this is nice and a little slant to the surface. And what's cool is, see, artist collection, Julian Paris. This little box came with it. Now, part of what I don't know is what exactly, how's this box work? And I'm gonna guess something like that. Open it up, and you have a place for your brushes and a few paints. Way too many brushes, obviously. And hang a water container off of here somewhere. So yeah, this could work. I might have to take this out and try it. So there you go. I mean, the idea that I've got so many of these kits is unnecessary. The only reason you would want multiple kits, at least two, is for backups. This is very prone to it. Any of them are prone to the wind catching them and knocking them over, breaking something. So you just go back to the car and get you another one. So there you have it. I showed you what I've got that I use for oil painting. This is what I use and how I set up for watercolor painting. I'll put a link in the description down below for the oil painting kits. But I use them all for the same thing, dual purpose, let me put it that way. The French box easel is probably the most versatile. What's nice about it is if you're going to paint in the house, this is all oriented toward painting out on location. But if you're wanting to paint in the house, if you can't get out, you can set it up in the corner somewhere, do your painting, work on it a little bit, fold it back up, stick it under the bed, put it in the closet. Any of these, they're portable. They're not huge fixed studio easels. Oh, I've got one. I've got a monster in the studio, and I'll show you that one sometime. But it's all you need. The essential ingredients you need are a substrate. For watercolorists, it's going to be paper. For oil painters, oil, acrylic, and watercolor. But you need something to paint on. You need a subject to paint, and some brushes. You need something to clean out your brushes, a brush pot of some kind. case of water, it's not a big deal. Stop at the convenience store and get a gallon and fill up your little container. You've seen the dog one, the rubber silicone dog collapsible one, and the other one's a plastic collapsible one. So all of this stuff is, I mean, it's just amazing what they've come up with in the last 15 years or 20 maybe now for plein air painters. There are painters, and I used to, but I don't anymore. I'm 77 years old, so I keep my, I like to stay as close to the car as I possibly can. On the other hand, you know, I'm good for a couple hundred yards, depending on the terrain, but to load the backpack like Josh Bean and head out cross country, those days are over for me. Well, as always, thanks for watching. I really appreciate your time. And I hope this was informative. If you have any questions about any of it, please put it in the comments. And I read them at this point. The channel is just exploding, and it's all because of you guys. And as long as I can, I'll keep trying to read them and answer them. And we'll go from there. If you've got another video you'd like to see, let me know. Until next time. All right, let's see how this fish is doing. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I think that looks pretty good. Sure smells good.